speak upon pain and suffering, which all ethnic groups in some one way, form, or fashion suffer. Okay, so I'm going to read to you. I don't know, not expect you to have your Bible, but I'm going to start off. I'm going to read to you today Matthew 10:5 through 8. But my primary scripture is going to be 7 and 8, and it says, and 5. It says, "Then Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give." Okay, and then so I want to go back to 7. It says, "And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand." Now, as you go, preach and saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Right now, there's a lot of different situations going on in America. One of the things that has just happened is that the Supreme Court has sanctioned gay marriage throughout the United States of America. Okay. There's another thing where I think it is BP once again has an oil spill, and they've spilled out numerous millions of gallons of oil into the oceans, right? There's a lot of homelessness going on in just the city of Chicago alone, okay? People are in despair. People don't know which way to turn, okay? But it doesn't need to be that way, okay? Because as you go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Okay, the kingdom of heaven, because this isn't a religious show, I'm not going to get overly in-depth into that, but I need to give a fundamental principle for where the show is going to be going so that you'll know based upon where I'm coming from, okay? And I believe in what we call Christian principles, which are applicable to all ethnic groups and to all situations in your life. So the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So it says, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, okay? Now, in the process of healing the sick, I believe that there's somebody out there who maybe not be of a black background, that you need healing in your body, okay? See, this is what God is about. God isn't about color. God isn't about how much money you make. God is about you as the individual, okay? We here at Black History 365, we don't talk about how we've gotten here. We talk about where we're going, okay? And where we're going, you need to be healed. Where we're going, you need to have full strength in your body. There's somebody out there who the doctors have given you a bad report who says that you're not going to make it. There's someone out there who actually has given up on life, okay? Do you have to be of African American descent to feel like life is not treating you fairly? That the relationship that you've been in for 20 to 25 years is dissolved and now you're heartbroken? Okay? Is there anybody out there who has pain in your body? Okay? But see, that's what Black History 365 is about. It's about getting you healed. Okay? Cleansing the lepers, raise the dead. Now, is there anybody out there who is dead? Okay? Now, if you were dead, you would think that you wouldn't be able to watch me at this particular moment. Okay? But is there anyone out there who's mentally dead? Is there anybody out there whose body is just so racked with pain and just so weak that you feel that you might as well be dead? Is there anybody out there who have been through so much tragedy in their life in the last, we're going to say, year to 2 years old, that you're just like, look, life isn't worth living? Okay? But see, that's what it says, to raise the dead. Okay? Now, I believe that if at this particular time in my life that if you were to see somebody physically raised from the dead, I'm not really sure if people could really handle that yet. Okay? But let it be your loved one. Okay? Let it be you. Okay? Let it be an opportunity for God to show himself strong and actually physically raise someone up from the dead. Okay? But he says right there, and as you go preach saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead. But then it says also, cast out devils. Okay, now, devils, we're going to say devils. Like, a lot of people don't even believe that the devil even exists, okay? But because this isn't a religious show, we're not going to get overly in-depth into the casting out of devils. But I do believe that there's a lot of mental unawareness that is going on. I want to call it mental ignorance right now about the schemes and devices that are going on here in this, guess what we'll call United States, okay? Maybe some devils need to be cast out, okay? So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next subject, which it says, freely you have received, freely give, okay? Now, what I just read to you was freely given to me. When I say freely given to me, it was freely given to me because I was able to read it, but it wasn't freely given to me because I had to go through quite a bit of pain and suffering to obtain the concept of that these things actually can physically be done. Okay? In my life, see, Black History 365 is about encouraging everyone. It's inclusive. Okay? It's about getting everyone to a good, proper state where we could live. See, if one person is sick in the group, they can make the whole group sick. Okay? Has to go one apple can spoil the whole bunch. Okay? So we don't want one apple to spoil the whole bunch, you know? We don't want things coming about that are adversely affecting the community because you didn't have help for that. You know, one of the things in Raising the Dead, I recently suffered the loss of my grandmother. And in the process of suffering the loss of my grandmother, I went to what we'll call a serious point of grieving. Okay? In the process of grieving, man, I actually thought that I possibly was going to lose my mind. Okay? But I was able to do the fundamental things that I need to do, and that's why I'm able to come to you today up under the umbrella of Black History 365, because a lot of times we don't appreciate black people. When I say black people, now, when I say we don't, I'm talking about black people don't appreciate other black people. Okay, what I mean by that is just kind of like, today I was having a conversation with some friends of mine, just in the process of preparing for the show. And they told me about the killings that are going on in the Chicagoland area. Okay, and they were like, look, I don't want to live there because they shooting people and this, that, and the other. And then I told them, well, you shouldn't be afraid of the black people because you're black. And they told me in so many words, man, I don't care nothing about that. Okay, I'm here to live for me and my children. So when they said that, I asked them, well, what are you planning on doing about the living conditions that you're talking about? And they told me that they plan on leaving the community, moving out to the suburbs. So when they said that, I was just kind of confused a little bit, like, is that the plan that we have as a people, that when the situation gets rough and tough, that we decide to run elsewhere and live? You know, running out to the suburbs or running anywhere is not going to alleviate the problem of crime. Okay? What needs to be done to alleviate the crime thing is we need to create jobs. In the process of creating jobs, did you know that you cannot be a consumer and create an economic stimulus? Okay? See, traditionally, we as a people, we have been taught a consumer mindset that, you have this amount of money, you spend it, you spend it on the car, you spend it on the house, you look successful. When people come by, they say, "Oh, Alan, that's a beautiful house, that's a beautiful car, but do I have any money saved? Or is every penny that I have going to the house note, the car note, okay? Is there any room for me to maybe save $1? Okay? These are principles that we need to overcome as a people. Alright? But because we're not the only people who are not saving money. Okay? We're not the only people who are not doing the right things with their money. Okay? Now, the difference I believe that we as a people here of African descent have is that we didn't actually come over here willfully. Okay? I believe that we were almost forced and taken from our homeland over here to do what we will call unnecessary work or necessary work. The reason I say unnecessary work is because we never got paid for it. Okay? And one of the things that Black History 365 wants to really begin to bring out is just like the Jewish people, they create museums and stuff like that, and they said that, people are going to know about the Holocaust. But did you know that black people have suffered a Holocaust themselves? Okay? But no one speaks about that Holocaust. Okay? I don't even believe that most people even really believe that right now the African American people are in a state of actually almost extinction. When I say almost extinction, yeah, there's certain things that are going on, but if you really look at it, the homeless rate is very high, the jail rate is very high. So now, whose responsibility is it to take care of these situations? Okay? Now, in Ferguson, I believe that they had like a report that came out that says like 85%, 90%, and 93% of the arrests, the citations, and something else I can't remember right now, were all racially biased by the police. Okay? Now, I believe that certain human rights have been violated there in Ferguson. Okay? Well, who came down there and really put that state not only to task, but the United States government to task on that? Okay? I'm not an advocate of violence, but you know what? Certain things need to change. Okay? And violence is never, to me, small personal opinion, violence isn't the answer that we need. Love is the answer that would change all of these different things, see? And that's what Black History 365 is about. It's about inclusiveness. It's about spreading the love, okay? The love that goes beyond ethnic groups, right? See, I happen to know that if anyone feels love, that their life is much better off. I don't care what ethnic group you are. I don't care how old you are. If you knew that somebody really loved and really cares about what's going on in your life would be so much different. Because when you got in a situation that you really didn't know what to do, when you got in a situation where you were feeling lonely, if you got in a situation where maybe just someone to come and sit down beside you, hear your conversation, could say, well, you know what? Maybe there's another way of looking at that. Maybe the bad situation that you're in is to teach you a lesson. Okay? Like, we're going to say credit card debt. Did you know that credit cards are are used now just to make ends meet. Okay? But once you get your credit card up to almost 60%, they already know that there's pretty much no way you're going to be able to pay that off. Okay? So now if you got 1, 2, 3, 4 credit cards and they're over 60%, you're pretty much in a bankrupt state whether you know it or not. Okay? And then another thing that I noticed that I was cruising around, and I would call it the black community, and the area where I'm presently staying is pretty decent. And all of the, the people taking care of their lawns, and oh man, it looks like the quote unquote American dream, right? But as I was really cruising around and I was really trying to get a feel for the show today, my spirit had told me that a lot of these houses that look so good, the people are actually upside down in those homes. So if your home is technically upside down right now, and we're going to say that it's upside down by over $20,000, it's going to be hard for you to pay that house off. Okay? So technically what is considered is a slow death. Okay? You're going to be able to pay because you can stay there, but just say one expected event happens in your life. Okay? That's going to put that whole situation in a new jeopardy. And plus, you're going to have the anxiety of paying for a house that you might not even love anymore, but now you have to pay it off, and then in the process of paying it off, you still won't even be able to get a good return on it. So what good is that doing in the long run? Okay? But I understand that we need to stay in these homes, but I really think that we need to create what we would call an establishment that will go ahead and get most of our homes that are underwater from being underwater. And I believe what that's going to call for us to do something with black people that we've never done before, and to just physically go ahead and admit that things are kind of in a bad state. And there's nothing wrong with saying things are in a bad state right now. Okay? When things are in a bad state, maybe collectively, with our good minds, we can come up with a plan that will say, well, you know what? There is a way that we can turn this thing around. I recently had a conversation with my dad, because Father's Day today is July 2nd, and Father's Day was not too long ago. And I was talking to my dad. Me and my dad, we have a strained relationship, but that's okay. But I wanted to talk to him about his dad, just to get a little insight. So he told me a few things about his dad, and when he told me a few things about his dad, unbeknown to me, it helped give me an idea about him. Okay, and so in the process of him, which now trickles down to me. Okay, so now as I'm raising up the children and stuff like that, I now have a better idea what my dad's dad went through. Okay, and so how it relates to me, and some of the things that he explained to me were kind of negative, but I told him to give me 2 positives and 1 negative, right? And you know what? Just like with anything, you ever notice like the negative, it always sticks out more. The positive things were really, really positive, but the negative things, it was like negative to the point where I was just kind of like, now we need to do something about that. So one of the negative things that I really believe that we as a community need to do is really, the fathers need to be able to spend more time with the children. Okay, one of the things that he did mention to me was about the providing for the children and things such as that right there, right? And all of that was fine and dandy, but he said that he really believed that more time spent with the child would have been more important, even though the financial things was good, but he felt that the time factor would have been really more important. And when he said that, it really had me to reflect upon me. So I want to ask, how many African American men, or not just African American men, but men period, are out here working, trying to provide for your family at the cost of not providing enough time for the wife and for the children? Okay, like I said, Black History 365 is not just about African Americans, but it's about everyone. It's inclusive.